Well, I think one thing about children and young people is that they're constantly developing. Various aspects of their development, cognitive being one, another is their emotional development, another is their social development, another is their physical development. And all through childhood and adolescence, they are developing. So if their cognitive, wherever they are at in their cognitive development, then that is the sort of behaviour that will follow. Mm-hmm. And so if you're at an age where you cannot think through consequences of your actions, then your actions, in some cases, will be such that they are inappropriate. And so, but expecting a child to behave in a way that they think through consequences before they are old enough to, unreasonable. And so there is a link between cognitive state and development and behaviour. And so various societies decide in different ways what age they decide that they should be developed enough to make responsible decisions. And so at the age of 10, they will be at a particular type of stage in understanding what is right or wrong. But their view of what's right or wrong changes all the time. And so when they get to be adults and wise, they have a very complex sense of what is right and wrong. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people. And they're able to balance various things up to make a wise decision about what is right or wrong. So what appears to be right at first actually may be wrong a little further down, and wise people are able to balance these things up. And so at the age of 10 and before, they have a very black and white view of what is right or wrong. Every year they get older, more and more they can. And so when they're very young, they don't know that if they do this, there will be a consequence. If they hit their brother, they don't understand that their brother will cry and get upset, for example. But as they get older, they learn more and more about consequences. In the early, in 2, 3 and 4, they have trouble controlling. It's what we call impulse control. Mm-hmm. But even into, going to 10 years of age, 15 years of age, impulse control can be difficult. Adolescent young people have trouble controlling impulses under the age of 10. So, for example, a 9-year-old will be able to control his or her impulse usually better than a 5-year-old. And so in many ways, one of the biggest lessons for as you grow up, one of the biggest lessons is impulse control. But you develop that through to the age of 10, and it keeps developing. And so, and that's another reason, for example, they decide that at age 18, when you become an adult, that is when you're expected to be controlling your impulses. First of all, adults showing them what is right and wrong, explaining to them why something is wrong and why something is right. Adults imposing consequences. And so, if you break the rule, then there is no television for 2 days. And so consequences are a very powerful way of letting the child feel that they have done right. Or if they do something well and right, they may get a sort of a star on their whiteboard or something like that, or a privilege, so they can, for example, ride their bike for an extra half an hour or something. And also making sure as much as possible that children observe good modelling. And so, for example, if they are watching a lot of movies and shoot 'em up games and so on, then then they might not be the greatest ways of modelling good behaviour. And so always being mindful of what our children are watching and listening to and seeing is another way of teaching good behaviour and preventing problem behaviour. Although, but reward you have to use very, very carefully. You can't reward everything, and so because then children, the other thing children need to learn is not to do things just for reward, to learn how to do them because it's the right thing to do. And so that's the difference we call between intrinsic motivation, that is, I want to help because I want to help, and not I want to help so I get more money. And so reward is good, but used wisely. That's how we use reward effectively.